This, hello, my name's Jane Hoffman, and I have a guest on the line, Don Gallimore, our regular. We still have one co-host in the hospital and another one in the Philippines. It should change pretty soon. Tonight's topic is about biblical flooding in Alaska, in which a major glacier has been melting near Juneau. There's been drownings and cars being stuck in Chattanooga, and even Milwaukee was overflooded in their main city and in their suburbs. The flooding doesn't stop, the fires don't stop, and Smokeageddon is coming. Also tonight, we're going to talk about how Florida and Texas are planning to redistrict, and that Trump is going off the hinge again, trying to have a private ceremony with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, but leaving out Volodymyr Zelensky and maybe including him on the next round of talks. And Don's going to tell you tonight about what's going on in Reno. So welcome, Don, to the show. Hi, Don.
Yes. Hello there.
So in national politics this week, it was mainly talk about natural disasters that are continuing, more tension between the Republicans and the Democrats, and also over 91,000 children have died since we have stopped giving aid to foreign countries that was traditional for over 30 years. So do you have any comments on these topics?
I don't know anything about 90,000 people.
91,000 kids have died in other countries, in places where we supported them through medicine and healthcare clinics.
Okay, that's a significant amount, and I don't know.
And it was because Trump and Vance cut the federal aid programs to all those countries.
Right, I can understand that. The problem is I didn't know that's 91,000 worldwide. That I would like to have a breakdown of that, because that is significant.
They had an expert on one of the talk shows, and by next week I will get you the statistics.
Sounds good to me.
So there is an Alaskan glacier with a strange name like McClendon Hall or something, and it's causing rising rivers and flooding in Juneau, Alaska, and they had to close the schools for a few days. And there's no solution in sight.
There is no solution. It's a glacier. The only thing that's going to stop it is cold, and we don't have any cold because we're in a global warming situation. It doesn't matter how we got there or whatever. But the carbon dioxide is right now as high or higher than it has been in 2 million years. So we're going to get glaciers melting everywhere. In fact, our oceans will be rising, and so we'll have the flooding. We've already got the fire for the pestilence, and then we'll be in an official apocalypse. That doesn't mean that we're all going to be dying, but there are going to be some major issues that are going to change the way that we live and the way that we have to prepare for the future. I just came out of a meeting, monthly meeting about AI, and so this is going to be prevalent. Everybody, the youth, are flocking to it like crazy. So that's something that we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah. What was your meeting about?
It was basically. These are granddaughters who are just jealous.
Real classy.
But anyway, yes, see, the young people, they don't have a clue about how serious AI is in terms of taking over their lives. They're going to have to sit around and, become a beast again and let AI take care of everything that they're doing. And that's not going to be a good look. But the main thing is that everybody's going to have to change jobs. They're going to have to be retrained or whatever jobs.
I do have a question about that, but before I get into the AI, I want to do a soundbite for 35 seconds, so could you mute yourself until your granddaughters slow their roll?
They're behind there.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick soundbite. The glaciers in Alaska are melting at an accelerated rate, according to several reports and studies. This melting is primarily attributed to climate change and temperatures rising. Alaska's glaciers are shrinking in both area and volume, and some show significantly faster melt than others. Alaska's glaciers are melting faster than those almost other regions, with some shrinking rates at 5 times faster than the 1980s, according to a study. The melting glaciers are impacting coastal ecosystems, affecting fishing and tourism, industries, land cover, ocean currents, and habitats for fish and wildlife. Also, I'm going to stop there. It's also many houses got ruined along the river banks of the Mendenhall. It's called the Mendenhall Glacier. A lot of river banks have been flooded and ruined houses. So I just wanted to add that in. Like, we hear about a lot of flooding in the lower 48 states, but we haven't heard that much about Juneau, Alaska's glacier descending upon them. Now, I have a question about AI because I saw some things on social media this week. I guess this one girl chewed out her professor because he used AI for instructions in class, and he stated that AI makes his job easier and better because it's more accurate. But then some teachers are telling their students, don't use AI when doing assignments. So for her, it was two-faced. Also, I want to know, do you think AI is going to cross the line and intercept with like false voting records and other false things? And how is it going to dramatically affect society?
Well, AI has been with us for a while. That was part of the overall plan.
But how is AI going to damage us? We already got fake news out there, and people believe that. So, what more damage could AI do to our country?
Well, that's the damage enough. I mean, that's just the start. You got to understand this accelerated use and performance and inventions are just the beginning right now for this type of AI. We've had it before, but it wasn't as intrusive as they wanted it to be because they wanted to be completely involved in one's life, where a human doesn't even have to think. All they have to do is press a button or even say their vocal commands. I've got Alexis in my house. They call her a computer, but I can't stand it. I refuse to put it in my bedroom. But the AI process is meant to be all-inclusive in a person's life. They've already got Chinese, I believe, or Taiwanese, or Japanese, I think, have a AI robot that they're trying to make emotives that they have feelings for. It's going to be a female, so they're going to be trained for matronly things, but now they've got mosquito-sized, more like drones, and so they're able to get in any place that they want. They can only have a 20-foot radius right now, but we've got. I saw a thing about Alaska, and that their islands are underwater now. So that's up towards Juneau. So we've got a myriad of problems. AI is the first. It's the first one that I think that people should think about, because we've got a schism in the country that no longer green. How much green you have, because that was our new schism. That was our latest schism.
What do you mean by how much green we have?
Push AI. They want AI to do everything for them, and that is going to pretty much push it over the edge into a non-territory, because we don't know how they're going to use it, and it's inevitable. That's what I brought up and we were talking about tonight. It's inevitable that the bad side is going to present an excellent AI that's going to be completely for destruction or militaristic. So we're going to have to watch out for all of that, because it will come, and how we deal with it is going to be how we survive in the future.
I have a comment. I want to talk a little bit about the political parties, because I really don't know that much about AI. I'm not in school anymore. I get the newspaper delivered to my door, and if there's fake news in there, then who knows? But a lot of the news up here is about people drowning in lakes and being careless in their boats. But anyways, I just went through an election, and I want to talk a little bit about parties.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too, and just know that I have, a son who's a part owner of a software company, and AI is it. I think I mentioned they're no longer considered themselves human; they're aliens, and that includes Dorsey and Musk and.
But what I'm saying is, to make a real difference, people have to know the impact, though. What's the impact?
That we're not going to be humans in the way that we have been before. We no longer will have to research. We no longer will have to read books. A lot of y'all automatically be read to us or presented to us. We'll no longer have to be cognizant of where we are or what we do, because the whole post in a social setting is going to be revolving around AI. I just came from about a month and a half ago, I had a conference with AI folks, and they are looking forward to a completely AI universe. So we're not going to be humans anymore in the same vein that we are right now, because we're not going to have to use our brains as much. And for some of us, that is a boom. That's something that they want to do. They want to give themselves or ourselves a way to the ease of life, the easiest life that we can have, and that's what AI is going to offer us. And you won't have to worry about any kind of problems, because AI will solve them for you, or give you at least the tools to solve them. The big thing about AI is that, of course, it's invented in the image of the inventor, and the inventor is a white man. Unfortunately, right now, there are many studies that are coming out that are saying that the color of your skin determines how AI, I guess, presents you into this stratosphere. You're going to be more susceptible to scrutiny the darker you are. on purpose. It's built in to the programs. So we're, looking at the fact that whoever is programming these things are going to have an upper hand on how things are seen.
Okay, I want to interrupt a minute. First of all, in order for AI to affect us, you have to have a smartphone. And some people are dialing it down and staying off the internet more. They're tired of the internet and it's burning them out. Secondly,
what the hell does that mean? What do you mean by
AI can't affect you if you don't have your smartphone on all day.
Okay.
How can it affect you?
I don't know. AI is AI. AI is working even if your smartphone is off.
Something else now, because I have limited education on AI.
Yeah, well, I have a son who is not a human, and he will tell you that straight in your face. And then I've got his friends. It's a whole culture or cult or whatever you might want to call it, but they're pulled in, and we've got campuses all over the country, especially here in the West, devoted to AI employees, and they don't even see other cultures. They don't even see other people other than those that are in their culture. The employee theft world is replete with employees jumping from one company to another because of the money. You saw that, who was that? Was trying to rob another.
Are you saying that they're dissolving stocks and then creating more stocks?
Yeah, well, they're giving $100 million to the brightest minds in the industry. They're giving them $100 million bonuses, signing bonuses. You know how much money that is? Just to be a person who's locked into a room pretty much 18 hours a day trying to create something that has never been created. It's an incredible amount of money that is imposed there, and we've got lithium mines right up the road from us. Some of the biggest in the country that are now free to be mined over the injections of the Indian reservation burial sites that it's going to be built on. So we've got things that are going to be temporary in some ways, because there will be systems that are built in the near future that won't require lithium. Lithium would be maybe in the batteries still, but they won't be necessarily in the programming manufacture of the chips. Relevant. So, we're looking at something that's temporary, that we're just tearing up the earth, putting in more carbon in, and causing more glaciers to melt.
Okay, I have to do a little more research on AI. It has no impact on my life, except for when I ran for public office. These companies kept bugging me every day, saying that if I pay $900, they're going to contact 15,000 voters. And of course, I didn't bite it. I'm not going to.
Was that AI driven, or was that?
I have no idea, but all I know is that I'm not paying anybody to contact people to vote for me.
Right. Well, those are just normal PACs. They give money, and they give you votes, access to what we call van and other things that a campaign pretty much needs for support.
Okay, I want to mention a few other things. I want to talk about the Democratic Party up here. They're endorsing candidates in a non-partisan race, and they're endorsing people that are already holding the positions. In other words, In my race, it was me, Lauren Martell, and Harry Welty. None of us were endorsed. And the two people that were endorsed by the Democratic Farmer Labor Party won. I lost by 57 votes to Lauren Martell, so I did not advance through the primary. What I'm trying to say is I think party politics and nonpartisan races are a hindrance, and it's just a way to maintain and control power, and it doesn't give newcomers an opening, and it's just it's almost like the Politburo. They're just going to pick the same old people anyway because they have the DFL endorsement behind them. Secondly, I can't get too much into it tonight because I'm overtired, but basically, I shouldn't have run a race that the two at-large candidates were already shoo-ins. And then thirdly, I just I don't really want to talk about AI because I don't know how it affects my life and I don't know that much about it. But I just want to tell you one funny quip. When I was running for school board, we had meetings with the League of Women Voters and they videotaped our debate. Then we all got to do a 5-minute soundbite for our case and our candidacy. And then I had a meeting with all the Federation of Teachers at the Duluth schools, like the people that kind of are in charge of the union, that when the teachers need their rights. So I had to meet with all those people, and they ended up endorsing the same people. But I still got almost as many votes as the fourth guy. So I got 920 votes. So that was pretty good. In a primary race where only 20% of Duluthians showed up. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I don't say run campaigns, but I basically am a leader in quite a few of the campaigns throughout the decades. And when you are going against two front runners and any incumbents, then you have to come out swinging. And when I say that, I am totally against negative ads run against other candidates in the same party. But I am totally up for distinguishing oneself to the entire voter politic. So what I like to do is flamboyance and making sure that my message is my main message is completely different from another candidate, devoid of any negative the information about the candidate I'm running for, because there might be a chance, just like little Marco, and now he's ambassador to the ambassador.
Well, it was a nonpartisan race, and the only person I criticized was Harry Welty for lamenting about Abraham Lincoln is no longer the mantra for the Republican Party, and he's living in the past, and he didn't even bring up school board issues. He's just up on stage lamenting about the past and the way America used to be.
But that's why you have to do your thing.
I did.
Okay, well, bottom line is that you need to go with your. Oh God.
I had supporters, Don. The supporters email me.
But you have to walk. You have to walk and knock. Walk and knock and pocket. Walk and knock and pocket. That's your mantra. When you run a campaign, you're walking, knocking, talking. And if you aren't out there 12 hours a day, you're not going to do anything, because those nonpartisan races are basically for secondary, tertiary candidates. These people voting for them don't even know who they are. They vote for them because they've got PW is his,
name. They have name recognition.
Yeah, they have name there that you don't. If you're one, going against two front runners. So you have to distinguish yourself in the streets, in people's houses, face to face, eye to eye. That's the only reason you're going to change some little old lady who doesn't know Tom Wilkie from jack shit, but will still vote for him because he's a man, or they don't even know he cares about Abraham Lincoln.
Well, guess what? His name's
Abraham Lincoln ain't got a motherfucking thing about a school board.
I know I'm Harry Welty. It's not Tim Wilkie. And furthermore, my other two opponents, guess how many times they've run for school board?
4.
9.
There you go. And they still didn't win, right?
One guy didn't win, and one guy was on the school board 14 years. And now he's 74 and he still wants to run.
Yeah, well,
it's a vanity campaign. He wants to run because he wants to talk about the good old days and how the Republican Party used to be.
Right, well, that's all right. It's a winning strategy. I mean, you got to understand the schools, and I've explained this many times on the show, schools are the easiest way to steal money. You've got more employees who work for school boards, the Department of Education, than any employer, period. In every state and pretty much nationally. More people are work for the school boards or work for the schools in this country than almost any employer, period. The best way to steal money is to get bonds and grants coming out of there, and you can put that money in your pocket easier than almost anything else. And the graft when they have rollouts of new stuff, and you get money if you support that. So you're making a good salary above your salary as a school board person, or you can if you know what you're doing. And Tom Wilkie, Larry Bilkie, whatever his name is, obviously he's a pro. He's got the big money in his pocket. And it's a baseless, it's a race that a lot of people don't want.
Well, all I know is I'm not going to do that to myself anymore. It was a learn. I didn't knock on one door. I held a sign the day before the election on a busy street. I held a sign.
If you lost by 57, if you worked, imagine how many more votes you would have had.
I know. I should have put in the work.
Then what is your complaint?
And the guy that lost 9 times in a row, he's knocked on over 2,000 doors every year. And that's how he's got the support.
Yeah, but he's probably a buffoon, and everybody knows who he is, an asshole, and they're not going to vote for him. Period.
Well, they did.
You think, but some people, just because he knocked on 2,000 doors. I mean, the guy at least was out there working, but he's missed it 9 times, Jane. How many jobs you've had in the last month? So we're talking about people develop ideas about people, and they go for decades, maybe the rest of their lives.
The person who knocked on 2,000 doors, he knows more about the school budget than the school board members themselves.
And that could be a question mark or something that they're afraid of, or whatever the case may be. People, they develop relationships and they're good and they're bad. And so they'll never achieve a certain place if they have a negative imagery. These guys are, they're, like you said, white Republicans. My God, what kind of more negative image that you can have?
One guy is not a Republican. The other guy is a Democrat.
And how much, this is irrelevant, but in terms of relevance of their idea of How big are they? Are they more than 300 pounds?
No. First of all, I want to mention something. All three of us wrote for the alternative newspaper, the Duluth Reader. And
So they're all progressives.
yeah, and one of them super skinny. They're both super skinny. And when Lauren wrote about the Duluth School Board in the past, he gave them adjectives, describe their behavior mannerisms, as well as described how they took vengeance on other school board members they didn't like. They blocked a school board member from entering a school, and they demoted his wife from one nursing job to another, and now she died of cancer. The other guy, like I said, he's pissed the school board off so many times. The one who's been in office 14 years, but he's the lone critic in a sea of yes people.
Oh, so he's the asshole, like I thought.
Well, he is, because he wants to. He said they were spending too much money, so he had to stop it.
Right, and then that's what's winning it for him right now, the monetary plank. But for the most part, I've been fighting school boards for decades. This got, 15 years now, 16 years.
What do you find troubling with school boards?
Well, Pat she was she could have been a front runner for a large position, but I told her no, because these people are evil. Your white people are evil. And you know about my legislation, and I'm a lobbyist and all yada yada. And so I bring up legislation that is meant to help the children, and they turn it into CRT, and teachers refuse training in just regular studies. That's because they don't want to perpetrate race studies. And that's
are you talking about Common Core or No Child Left Behind?
That's what DEI is all about. The loss of DEI is all about. They don't want to teach people history.
Well, our school still teaches diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I beg pardon?
We still support DEI.
I know it, but the federal government's pushing hard. Harvard, I mean, come on, Columbia, all those places are in trouble. Virginia, U of V, they're all in trouble because of their DEI policies, and he's stopping all of the DEI around the country, and he's putting back monuments to statues that were taken down. Come on. I saw Martin Luther King speak. The biggest takeaway of his speech when I saw him as a child, as a young child, I guess, was that you don't give back what you got. You do everything in your power.
Trump screwed up the whole system again.
Right?
Trump screwed up federal funding for the federal education budget is less than 50% of what it used to be.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, yes, he's in here to put that money in his pocket. Like I said, education is the easiest way to make money. If you dismantle the education department, it's already funded. It's got money in there. Where's that money going to go? It's not going to go in the general fund. Fuck that. It's going to go in some educational organization pocket that's back to related to Trump University or some shit. We're talking about a massive theft right now that's going on right now in America, and nobody knows, and it's going to be paid by the American people, as it usually is. They're right now, if you look, there are studies from I think BMO, was it
the Bank of Montreal?
No. Just whoever takes the budget office that says that
it's the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget.
Yeah, right. OMB. And thanks. I was trying to figure that out. So they have already published studies that are saying that $2,470 minus. That's minus 2,470, I think, or 740, one of those two, that people are going to be minus after they get their tax.
It's okay.
With about $5,000 for the tariffs. So they'll be getting money, but then ultimately, after inflation and everything else kicks in, we're going to be paying out $2,470 or $2,740.
Okay, let's tackle that next week. I have to end the show now, but I got to tell you something after I stop the stream. So just hang on a second, okay? Next week we will get more Philippines.
Yeah, we're not going to get that. We're just going to be how Trump is great. But